Um, Neil, I'll kick off first of all by kind of asking. You've said this is possibly one of the biggest, if not the biggest, challenges that you've had in management. Can you, with 5 games to go now, can you explain exactly what you mean by that, and also how you believe you'll be able to keep Middlesbrough up?
Well, I just think it's such what I would call an unbalanced squad, really. There's a lot of good players, but we haven't, there's sort of decent midfield numbers and probably a shortage of strikers and defenders. It's a strange situation, really, which I've never found myself in before, really. I mean, we have got good wing backs, lads who like to go forward. I think scoring goals, you need a solid back four and an extra forward, etc. That's how I'd like to go about it, but it is difficult at the moment.
And Neil, in terms of, I suppose you always hope and you want an outcome, but in terms of confidence of being able to, with the 5 games left, obviously now Millwall is the next game up. How confident are you that you can find a way, as you say, with that unbalanced squad, to get the results you need?
You just have to give the lads as much information as you can and try and give them as much confidence as you can. But, it's no good kidding yourself. When we get 2 results like we've just had, chins are on the floor. And that's why, as a manager, you can't afford to let your own chin drop. It's disappointing, but the points that we've taken in the last couple of games, because we should have had more, quite honestly. But you can't dwell on things at this level now, because they come so thick and fast that players have just got to stand up and be counted, really. And it's such a great club, they've got to fight for the place, because it's one of those things now that you've got to get points on the board in the last 5 games.
Neil, just a part of how you're able to do your job with the way that football's come back behind closed doors, the lack of crowds. How challenging is that for you? You display body language, you use your voice a lot as well there. When you haven't got a crowd to maybe mask some of your signals, how challenging has it been to get your messaging across? Because it's quiet. Everyone can hear what you're saying. Everyone.
I mean, it's disappointing for everyone's in the same boat. It's not the same atmosphere. I think the crowds just push players that little bit further. It's all right saying they shouldn't need crowds and things like that, but it's just human nature that a crowd behind you just find that extra little bit, and we've not had that. So it has been strange in that respect, and I think it's shown that football in this country would be nothing without the fans. I think that's the biggest thing. The fans are so important. Not just for the revenue, but for the game itself, because it quite simply isn't the same without them.
And Neil, are you changing the way that you get your messages across, because it is so quiet? Is that sometimes you might be able to give away some tactics to the opposition, because whereas before the crowd might have drowned you out, your opposite number can hear exactly what you're saying now. Are you doing anything differently?
I think I've had my head in my hands quite a few times in the last couple of games, if I'm honest. Whether that tells them anything, I don't know. But other than that, no, I think it's all done on the training ground, really.
Neil, can I also ask you as well? Last night we saw another incident where a couple of teammates came to blows. There's various rules of thumb about is it a bad thing to see teammates displaying sort of annoyance, anger with one another, or is it a good thing? You're a passionate manager. You want your players to be passionate. Where do you just stand on that debate, Neil? Players falling out on the pitch, good or bad thing?
It wouldn't bother me if one or two of my lads got hold of the throats, if I'm honest. But it's a difficult one. I think if you can, you need it in-house. You need it in the dressing room. Sometimes these things happen in football, and it's only momentary. It's just for the moment. I'm sure half time they got together, and it's just that they care. I think that's what they showed, and I think the effort. The same with my lads. I think the effort's there. I think that just that little bit more that we need now to grasp the results is what we've got to find from somewhere.
And just a final one from me, if possible, just on how the drinks break is panning out. Initially, it was not so much to help with weather; it was about fatigue as the players had come back in a short space of time. But you kind of almost got 4 quarters now, and it's maybe being used as a tactical timeout. Are you happy that the drinks break is still staying, and also maybe how it's being used?
I'm not for it, if I'm honest. I think it originally came on because of a worry about the players' fitnesses and what have you. But at the moment, I think if anything, it's damaging that cause, because I think they're more likely to stop for a couple of minutes and then pull something than they are continuing. I don't see the logic of it now, but it's there, so we have to put up with it, don't we? And if you want to get your points over, you can do. But I'm not a big fan of it, if I'm honest.
Thanks, Neil. I think that's my half dozen, so I'll pass over to other people. Thanks, Neil.
Who's next? Martin? No.
Hello, Neil. It's Simon from Tyne Tees. Can I just ask a couple? It's a kind of sign of the strange times we're in that you're playing behind closed doors at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday. How does that feel?
Weird. Yeah, really, really strange, I must admit. It's can't explain it really. It's I know everybody's having these sort of kickoffs. It's almost like, let's do that just to get rid of the games, get rid of the games quick enough. It's not what football's all about, but we're in that situation and we have to deal with it. It's like I say, it's the same for both teams. We've probably done a bit more travelling than others in the last couple of weeks, having less time to recover, etc. But it's no good crying over spilled milk. We've just got to get on with it.
Is it simply so you can go get the match played and get home?
Well, I would imagine that's something like that's got to, because obviously we're playing Saturday again, aren't we, us? And to get back to Middlesbrough from an evening kick-off would be quite ridiculous, really. So it does help in that respect. But it is strange kicking off midweek at that sort of kick-off time.
Millwall, obviously, well-known reputation for not being the most welcoming place. Do you think it'll feel different when there's no one there and it's a Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always enjoyed going to Millwall because it is like an hostile environment, and they get behind the team, and Gary's done ever so well there. So it will be strange, but we have to sort of make our own atmosphere, if you know what I mean. We have to try and stand up and be counted, because it's a place where if you're not, you get steamrolled.
Thanks, Neil. I'll pass you on to Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi, Neil. Sorry about that. Just pressed the wrong button. Obviously, the players have had the stuffing knocked out of them a bit, but do you think that you've got enough players in your squad with the fighting spirit required to get out of this hole that they're in?
Well, I think you've just got to make sure that everyone that steps on the pitch gives everything. I don't think you can ask any more when it's in a situation like this. I mean, it does look like it's going to go right down to the wire, because we don't score enough goals. To be, the lowest scorers in the league really is the main reason why we're down where we are. But overall, you've just got to keep going. It's fighting for a club like this to not to get relegated, and the players keep doing it, and hopefully get a little bit of rub of the green and in the fight and get points.
With just 5 games to go, is there actually anything you do to start making them score more goals at this late stage?
Well, I think we're doing what we can without going into details. But it's one of those things. Scoring, it's sometimes scorers go on a run when they get one, etc. We've got to take the chances that we get. I mean, I think on Saturday we had twice as many as what QPR had, but they scored a good goal, really. And we've got to try and take our opportunities when they come. Put other teams under pressure. We keep shooting ourselves in the foot, and can't continue doing that.
It's obviously so tight at the bottom of the table. A win could obviously change the picture, couldn't it?
It could, yeah. I mean, like I say, I think it will go right down to the wire, if I'm honest. The way things look at the moment. And Millwall are flying. I think I would imagine they will be looking forward to tonight's game. We've got to compete with them. It's no good having ability. Ability alone won't get you points. So we've got to make sure we compete with them in a difficult place and try and come away with something.
I mean, obviously, both sides have got a lot to play for at opposite ends of the table because Millwall trying to get into the playoffs. So both sides have really got to give it everything, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it's slightly different in Millwall's situation because if they don't get in the playoff, they've had a decent, and I think you can play with a little bit more freedom. In our case, I think players will be a little bit tighter, a little bit more nervous, etc. Because what's at stake, and we've got to try and eliminate that as much as we can, and let them go out and play with a freedom, which is all right talking about, but it's different, put it into practice.
Yeah, because fear really does inhibit you, doesn't it? I mean, how concerned are you now?
Well, I'm, as much as when I turned up, really. I said to Steve when I came in, it's not going to be easy. This, I can assure you, because of the way the squad was formed. Really, I think it's, I don't know how it's happened, but it has gone so lopsided over the period, and. But you're too late to worry about that now. We've got to try and get results with what remains, and work out how we can get results with those.